Greetings. I hope this video is coming to you in the comfort of your residence or work or friend's house. I don't know, wherever you are. My hope is that you are comfortable and ready to talk about today and what we're going to be sharing about rest. So, I'm Dr. Camisha Chambers. I have the privilege of serving as the Nurturing Communities Coordinator for All in Community. The nurturing coordinating space is all around two things: identifying and strategizing. We want to identify the different traumatic things and moments and experiences that happen that cause wounds in our lives. And we take the time to strategize on how to rise above that. And so we have made a decision for the rest of the year that we are going to adopt the concept that Dr. Shaundra Dalton-Smith has brought to us and has taken the world by storm, and that of rest and having a rest revolution. I get so excited every time I hear those words because you think of revolution, something that is quick and um, major in its change, and it's a lot, and it can feel overwhelming sometimes. And that is good because we are in a society that keeps us in constant go mode. And so taking the time to pause and just rest is revolutionary because it's countercultural. So last time we talked about physical rest and sensory rest. Today, we wanted to talk about mental rest and social rest. These are so exciting to really indulge in and really like dive into. Before I go there, one thing to let you know that we'll start with mental rest and end our time on social rest, but there'll be a two-parter for social rest. And I'm really excited. Once you learn and we talk through what social rest is, you'll be excited for the part two because the part two is going to be an interactive conversation. Um, Between myself and a friend. We'll be talking deeper about that social rest concept, which I super am excited about. And hopefully you are too. So let's talk about mental rest. We are in a society where, like I said before, we are in go mode all the time, and mental illness is on the rise, and it is not showing any signs of letting up. When we talk about mental illness and when we talk about what's going on in our society, we learned years ago in 2021 that approximately 1 in 5 US adults were battling a mental illness. This is from the National Institute on Health. They did the same survey nationwide, and in 2023, they noted that more than 1 in 5 US adults were living with a mental illness. And so, what that's letting us know is that these numbers are increasing. And if they were to conduct the same study in 2025 that they did in 2023 and 2021, we can confidently say that those numbers would be more. Um, Unfortunately, it's not something that we are excited about, but when we follow trends and when we just go about everyday living, we see the reality of those numbers and that data. Think about it. You're in the grocery store, you could be on the road, anywhere, work, church, the neighborhood, whatever the case may be, and you see individuals who are battling some kind of mental challenge, be it anxiety or depression or bipolar schizophrenic, personality disorder. There's so many different things that's going on, and a lot of our folks that we do life with are really challenged in the area of anxiety and depression. And as we go into the fall season and really come up on the holidays around Thanksgiving and Christmas, we see where the numbers for depression go up astronomically. There's a lot of grief that folks are dealing with. There's a lot of loss that folks are struggling with. And so these holidays and this particular season, fall, especially winter, witnesses a lot of seasonal depression, things of that nature. So it is incredibly important for us to hone in on our own mental health so that we can be okay as we continue to do life. And if we are married or have children, that we can take care of our homes. As we are out, if we are leading people in a job, be it church or corporate, whatever the case may be, we just want to make sure that the mental capacity is okay. So let's just dive into it. I was going to, you know, kind of go into some more things to say, but I think it's really important to just get into it, right? So, we talk about this next type of rest from Dr. Sandra, and she talks about mental rest. And there were some questions that were on the table. It was, are you a person whose brain turns on the second you hit the pillow? You may be struggling then with a mental deficit. This is what one of the clinical psychologists posed before they really broke down Dr. Sandra's next type of rest. They also said that sleep is helpful, but never feels restorative enough. If you are a person who's dealing with that. They also say if you rely on coffee to get you through the day, and it only you find it to get you through a short run, but in the long run, you're further perpetuating racing thoughts and worries and mental processing. You may be at a mental deficit if you are struggling or finding yourself saying, "Ooh, that's me." You are in that space. And so taking a mental break each and every day is something that we all can look into. Something that we don't get to do often because our brains are always on go. Our brains are always active. If you look at brain scans and things like that, when a person is just sitting, there's still like a little bit of activity that's going on in the brain. And then if you introduce like words or music or language, things like that, the brain lights all the way up, right? But the brain, in essence, is what I'm saying is it is always on go. And so, what do you do as a person who is going about your everyday life? What are you doing for that mental rest? And so, one of the things that Dr. Dalton-Smith, she encourages is for us to have short breaks throughout the workday. She also suggests journaling before bedtime. Another client, or another, I'm sorry, clinical psychologist, they say that they encourage their clients to assist with to help them to assist with their mental chatter that they may have going on. they suggest to their clients to do something called thought diffusion. And they define thought diffusion as a mental exercise to help create distance between thoughts and emotions. It is the concept of observing thoughts as they flow in and gently allowing them to pass without placing any pressure on them to move faster or slower. So it gives you an idea, puts you in an idea in the frame of mind of I have a thought, um, let it come, all right, let it go. No, "Ooh, I wanna do this, I wanna do that, I wanna add to this, I wanna add to that," but just letting a thought come and then letting it go on by. No work, no pressure, no nothing. And that was what the psychologist has suggested. Another psychologist gave us some tips on what to do for mental rest, and some of those tips are practicing acceptance, where the psychologist helps us or reminds us that we don't control everything, or do everything all at once. 9 times out of 10, we have a to-do list and we are probably completing 3 out of the 12 things on that list. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up over that. Don't feel like you're a failure. It is totally fine. If you only accomplished 2 out of the 12, at least you accomplished 2. So if we can celebrate that win versus being so hard on ourselves and not extending grace or self-compassion or self-love, it will be a much better place mentally, emotionally, physically for us. So practicing acceptance. Another tip that was given to us from the psychologist was telling us about being intentional. Being intentional, she explains, is it means setting your mind to doing something, such as resting or whatever the case may be, and doing it. So tell yourself, like, and this psychologist, she is a licensed psychotherapist and a certified yoga teacher in San Francisco, sorry. And she literally gives an example of when you tell yourself, like, I am going to rest now, and you actually go and rest. Being intentional about our decisions is something that can really help guide our choices, guide our patterns, guide our behaviors. And we stick to it and find ourselves being disciplined in that space, and it will yield really, really, really good results. Another tool or tip that was given to us is taking in your surroundings. We go all the time and we are looking and we are doing and we are like, oh, look at this, look at that, look at there. Never taking the time to just soak it in, right? Look at this. Well, what is the this? Let me soak it in for a second. Sitting down for a little bit. We can be walking. How about just pausing and just replenishing ourselves for 15 minutes on the couch? So breathing in slowly, exhaling slowly, listening to the sounds around us, calming ourselves and giving ourselves what we need. How about taking 15 minutes a day to do that, to reset the brain? When you are taking in your surroundings, you get a chance to hear what's going on. If you're looking at certain things, you give yourself an opportunity to just notice the colors that are in front of you. Notice what your body feels, notice how different body parts feel. You just get a chance to just connect. Um, and that promotes something known as mindfulness, which is all around being present in the moment and coming out of whatever challenges may be around us, but actually becoming present in the moment and gifting ourselves the opportunity to connect and feel and not worry in that particular moment. Mindfulness is a strong gift, and just taking in our surroundings will help get us there. And another tip that was given is focusing on yourself. We focus a lot on other things and other people, But giving ourselves the opportunity to just rest and just focus. So, journaling, if you decide to set up a scene, right? Like you go into a nice quiet spot, you lower the lights, you pull out your journal, you may have a candle, you may have music, soft music playing, or music of your choice that brings you comfort. But just sitting and allowing the music to wash over you, allowing the peace to ride with you, and you just kind of pause for a second. That in and of itself promotes the healing and the mental rest that you need, that we all need in our bodies. So that's another thing that we can do for mental rest. So it is literally unplugging from all the mental activities, all the brain activities that go on each and every day. Like I said, our brains are always on go. And so when we take the time to just pause and just give ourselves that mental peace and that mental break from everything throughout the day, we will begin to feel our bodies being rejuvenated in the moment and being renewed. And we might see some reduction in anxiety symptoms, depression, all of those things too. So it's worth a try each and every day. We talked in a previous session about physical rest and sensory rest. Could you imagine your life if each and every day you gave yourself the physical rest that was needed, the mental rest that's needed, and the sensory rest? Gosh, that is a beautiful formula for healthy living. Dr. Sandra is amazing in what she's offering us in these tools. The final one I would like to talk about today is social rest. And why it is a two-part is because I get to talk to a friend of mine who will be joining me next time as we talk about what social rest looks like in the context of a safe and brave social connection. And so, social rest is looking at where are you getting your energy from? Who are the individuals who are life-giving versus draining you? Um, we all have a social battery. Um, at one point in time in my life, I was 100% extroverted. My soon-to-be husband is 100% introverted. And I am seeing that as I am getting older, I am following into that trend. And so some will classify me as an ambivert. And as an extrovert, I realized I could always be on go, 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 go. And I would very rarely get tired. Um, but even at that, I still had a social battery. As I'm older and really functioning in that middle space of being half extrovert, half introvert, I am really in tune with my social battery and understanding when it's time for me to recharge. And it's really important to know what that looks like. If you are running on E, how do you renew yourself? How do you revive yourself? Who are the people in your corner and in your space that help replenish your battery? And so I'll put a pin in that because I want to pick that conversation back up next time with my friend. Majority of you all know who my friend is. I love her so, 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 so much. Um, I was gonna tell you who, but I'll just wait. I will wait, to let the surprise come through. It's gonna be a fun conversation. She is a person who thrives really well in community, as I do, and we are a part of one another's community, and we have been, in each other's lives for a few years and have really seen the hand of God in our friendship and in our sisterhood. So I'm really excited for my friend to show up next time so we can have this conversation continuing in the vein of social rest. Um, yeah, so hopefully something stuck out to you a little bit. Hopefully you're picking up some helpful tips and tools on the different types of rest. We have talked about the 4 of 7 so far: mental rest, sensory rest, physical rest, and social rest. That's all a part of this rest revolution that Dr. Shaundra Dalton-Smith is bringing to us. Powerful, powerful, life-changing work. Get into it, people. I'm telling you, it's life-changing and transformational work. It, you know, there's a lot of things that people are pushing out nowadays, and it's like, okay, but this is some work that you will wanna pick up and really study because it gives us the tools that we need for healthy living. Thank God for Dr. Shaundra Dalton-Smith, and thank God for you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being present. Hopefully, you'll be able to get a chance to get you some good rest and you'll build upon your rest arsenal that you have. All right, you all, have a great night. Bye.